create more opportunity and places for people to enjoy the experience of making music. At this moment in our history, it is even more important for Leland to support and encourage our global community of creators and fans. We are honored to join. We are here, Linda Perry, Kerry Brown, and all the participants during this special activity benefiting Music Cares. And we hope everyone watching will enjoy the thrill and excitement creative experience can provide. Thank you.
Was waiting for Hello. Hi, this is Stella Emmet. I'm here with Mike, and I'm here with my good friend Lee, who I've known for many years. You are watching On the Air, brought to you by We Are Here. We're really excited to be performing for you guys. Really excited to be performing after that great conversation with Dolly Parton. That was so amazing. Excited to be raising some money for Music Cares. If you look near your screen, there should be a donation button. I'll keep mentioning that because really important to help artists right now. We're just going to get into it. We're going to start with a song called Out of Town. And as the show goes on, we'll talk more about it and about us. And yeah, let's start. So down when you're out of town, and I'm surrounded by ghosts. I went back home just to find it out. Those who hurt you can love you the most. Describe my surroundings with my eyes closed. Picture myself there. I went home just to go and find myself back hiding at the top of the stairs. When you're out of town, it's such a downer. You'll find me hiding underneath the counter. You'll find me right where you left me. You'll find me. Where should my hands go when I'm watching you? You already know what I wanna do when you're out of town. It's such a downer. You'll find me hiding underneath the counter. You'll find me right where you left me. When you're out of town, it's such a downer. You'll find me hiding underneath the counter. You'll find me right where you left me. You'll find me. When you're out of town, it's such a downer. You'll Hey.
Yeah,
Song 1 down.
love it.
Oh, my reverb's off. How are you doing today, Lee?
I'm doing great. I'm so thrilled to be seeing you guys actually at work here. I've been listening. I saw the video for this song, and I love the lyrics.
Thank you.
The story is, I mean, it's really a poignant story when you really listen to that lyric, and it's
Yes.
something that people who travel for work really can relate to. I mean, when you're gone, it's there's a gaping hole in life and all
Yeah.
that, and then all the questions. And I love the atmosphere you guys create with your tracking and stuff. It reminds me a little bit of the theme from the movie Baghdad Cafe. There's this tension that you create with the pad and everything. I love it. I can't tell you, having known you your whole life, how totally proud I am. And
Oh, it means a lot.
talk to your dad too. I told him, man, you got to be busting your buttons over this, because it's really good. Mike, man, your programming is just beautiful.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Mike kills it. Yeah, what my dad always says, one of his big phrases is, "I won't blow sunshine up your dress." So he's never
He says
blown
the same
sunshine
thing
up.
to me.
Yeah, one of his catchphrases.
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you both talk about a little bit of how you know each other in this
Well,
crazy world?
Well, we know each other because my dad, Danny, is an incredible musician, as is Lee. And the first tour my dad brought me on was the Troubadour reunion tour with Carol and James, and you were, of course, playing in that band.
Yeah.
And we met and became fast friends.
Man, we bonded like super glue.
Yes, we really did.
I was sitting out there on the road with a bunch of people I'd been looking at for 40 years, and all of a sudden there was new meat, and
Yeah.
we went for it. You were really, musically it was great, but you were the emotional lifesaver every day for me.
Thank you.
We created our little project.
Yes, exactly. Our little project was Lee would take pictures of me just doing different things on tour, and we kind of hoaxed people into thinking that I was like single-handedly behind like this worldwide like mega tour, and like I was the one keeping everything afloat, driving forklifts and stuff. You can see those on my Instagram, Stella Emmet. I just posted a bunch of those pictures. It's so fun, and I can't believe that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's really, really shocking to me, but everything is shocking to me at this point.
Yeah.
But you were such a good sport on that too. I mean, it could have been one of those things where I would have, thought of something and say, here, why don't we do this? And you could have just gone, oh, really? Oh, come on, give me a break. But your enthusiasm for things was great. And I looked through there, and you tuning the piano, tuning my bass, tuning the drums.
Oh, yeah.
You were Carole King's nutritionist, putting a steak in a blender and giving James vocal lessons.
All kinds of crazy stuff.
It was great. It was just such a hoot. And that was the thing that really became wonderful, was so many people would talk to me about the tour, and all they wanted to talk about it, Stella. They didn't talk about the music or James or Carol or anything. It was always like, man, what's Stella doing? What are you guys going to do next? I mean,
that is so funny to me. I can't believe that. I didn't think anyone would care. I thought we were just passing the time. That is hilarious.
Yeah, no, it took on a life of its own. I wanted to ask you guys a question, if I could.
Of course.
I've been listening to, a number of your productions. And I was just curious how you approach your songs. I mean, in terms of coming up with it's the same question everybody ultimately gets: is do you lyrically, do you have something in mind and then you build the track, or do you have tracks that you're working on and then write a song to it? I'm just curious.
Well, it's a very much a 50-50 split. So do you want to talk about your end, or I'll talk about mine?
Sure. And I'll talk a little bit about the album that we have out currently called Admirer.
Yes.
And that was really our first kind of full-length working together, and it wasn't even an intention for it to be an album originally. We just started kind of making songs in a new vein, and trying to go down more of a modern pop music kind of route with our own spin on it, of course. And I'm always making ideas. I just love kind of opening up. At the time, I was really...
Mike has like vaults on vaults of just instrumentals and stuff. He's one of those people.
And so at the time, I was really just working just in the box in Pro Tools. And so kind of every day, I would kind of just be putting together an idea, maybe grabbing a sample, recording some keys, maybe doing a drum loop or something like that. And especially at that time, so this is back in 2017, 2018, college, yeah. Something like that.
The old days.
I was going very maximalist. I would come up with an idea and then just layer and layer and layer and layer and layer. And then Stella would come over and I would be so excited, about something I was working on. And she would have me solo each track, maybe the drum track or even just like a hi-hat track or a bass or a keyboard. And I would maybe have 20 tracks going and she would choose about 3 and say, this is what's good. This is the idea. And so it was kind of this interesting idea of building. I would build these songs way up. She would strip them way back down. And then kind of together, we would really find what was interesting about it and then rearrange it into a whole 3-minute piece. So
that's cool.
It was a nice blend in that way.
And as far as like lyrics and melody stuff go, I do the vast majority of that, I would say. And I just have at this point, I just have like several notebooks with me at all times. And if I hear something interesting or think of something, I write it down. So I'll refer to that if I think like the mood matches something I remember writing. And like, I don't know, like a lot of songwriters, I am reactionary. I write to something that happens to me or happens to somebody close to me. And it's interesting. Yeah, I used to just think, oh, I'm just a singer, songwriter. But I love producing, and I feel like I started doing it without knowing I was doing it, sort of unconsciously, which maybe is how a lot of people find it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it's great. What you guys come up with is really good. And it's interesting to me hearing you say, you layer these tracks really thick with all these ideas, and then you come and strip them down, because one of the things that I find really appealing, I was listening to like Secrets and Daydream and all these songs, and it is kind of that minimalist thing that I find, there's a level of tension within them because of that, where you get like this thing that's just cruising through it, and then you've got colors surrounding it, as compared to like a big, thick, huge production.
Right.
And I think this makes it really interesting that the two of you combine in this way, for the fact that, and that you're not married to the, no, I don't mean that. No, that you're not married to like your big, thick production, where somebody else will, hey, man, that's my track, leave it alone. The fact that this is all malleable, and that you're coming up with these things and then say, let's take it, let's move around with this thing, because there'll be songs too that can be really big productions. But what I'm hearing, I really, really appreciate the production side of it.
I mean, I love working with another person. I love bouncing ideas off of somebody, because I know I'm not always right. And so I feel like, obviously there's a point where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, but if you combine like a few musical minds, I feel like your chances of coming out with something really great kind of increase.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not true all the time, but
we push the best ideas out of each other, I think. I think that's really true. And we both are the kind of, when we like something, we really like it. And so when we find an idea that we're working on, if it's something that we can just leave on and let loop for 15, 20 minutes while we're kind of just brainstorming, I think then we know we really are onto something.
Because the sounds you like become your sound, right?
Yeah.
Like the things you like to play just become what people know you for. So that's interesting.
But as we move forward into working on this new album, we've been using a lot more hardware equipment and kind of moving outside of the computer, which has been really, really fun. Roland has helped us out with some equipment.
Yes.
They have
thank
great
you
stuff.
so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're using all Roland stuff today.
Thank you to Roland, of course, for sponsoring this.
And so we've kind of taken everything that we learned from the last album and now have been applying that to a lot of the new work we're doing. And it's really fun working without a big computer screen in front of you.
Yeah.
And so we're able to kind of use everything in front of us and get a lot of the basic tracks that way. And kind of
a
programming
band.
Kind of, in a way, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It's different instruments, but the fact that you're not glued to a screen and you're actually just watching you just now. I mean, the focus on hands-on playing, moving knobs and faders and bringing in sounds is an instrument. I mean, I'm not when it comes to it, my mantra has always been, don't be an old fart. It's, there's lots of new technology that's really fabulous for making music, and to be playing that technology rather than programming it.
Right.
Is really, really cool. But it's fun watching the dynamic when you were just playing that song between you. There's an interaction as a band and not a couple of programmers at it.
Well, we still have to sort of make decisions together of like, all right.
We really only started playing live shows with the new music this past year. And a big part of doing the live set is that I really wanted to make sure that things could still go wrong. I think that's what makes a live set, right?
Yeah.
You have to be a little scared that you're going to mess up in order to give a good performance, I think, right? If it's not going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're going to hit start and run your set, who cares?
Yeah.
But it's that hanging on the edge of the precipice every time you go out, and all it takes is one piece of gear to go down in the middle of a show, and that's where the test comes. Do you give up at that moment, or do you find another way of manipulating something and you keep going with it? And that's why I've always been a band guy. I like that feeling, and I like you said, Stella, I like that interaction with other people. I don't want to be a solo artist. I really like, bouncing ideas back and forth and getting those juices flowing.
Absolutely.
You want to play another song?
I think we will. Let's play another song off of Admirer called Daydream.
I love the lyric on this one.
Oh, thank you. What?
Are you all set up?
Oh, yeah. What do you think, Lee? Does that sound?
I could hear a little more of it if you want to turn it up just a little. Yeah.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay.
Daydream, living in my daydream. I know I'm safe, but I'm not here. Daydream, break out of my daydream. Will it ever change? Oh God, the world circles me slowly. The sun dances on the grass, draws me out, draws me away. But you're better than anything I've made up, and now I have to give the daydream up. You're better than anything I've made up, and now I
This is so interesting.
This is very cool. When you guys, you were saying you're doing live gigs. What's your setup for live gigs?
So our setup for live gigs is we'll go off of either what Roland has provided us for this set, which is a MC707 groove box. Sometimes we'll do an MPC.
MPC 1000 too by Akai.
But what we have for this one is the 707 connected to a Roland SH01, I want to say, for that like chunky, great bass sound. And I'm playing a Jupiter XM synth right now for those little melodies. And then Mike has a SP404. So it's like a lot of things chained together, essentially, and talking to each other.
It's great to have a
kind of like what's going on right now would be your live gig in a certain extent.
Yeah.
You have that set up. And okay, cool.
Definitely.
I
might have a vocal pedal too.
Okay. Yeah, because it's interesting, like being able to bring in like the vocal effects along with the voice. I mean, the things you can expand to create more out of minimalist gear is really cool.
Yeah,
we like working with a sort of sampler sequencer as sort of the heart of the live setup, so that we can have some pre-recorded elements that we've done in the studio that have more of that grit and more of a kind of analog kind of feel, to then be able to mix in with kind of the live synths, just so it doesn't get too crisp. And then obviously I have all my drums going through here too, which are some recorded drums, some from sample packs, some from drum machines, just kind of a blend. Some that are recorded off a iPhone, a little clip of a voice memo of just a cool sounding, something that we throw, sound effects, kind of anything. And
yeah, it's great to get like some of that lo-fi stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I remember doing a session, and the only demo they had was on the iPhone. And I ended up taking the iPhone and putting it between my strings and my pickup and playing the demo through my bass.
Oh my God.
And we went, let's just record this and then play off of this. And it became like the sample track to go off of, because it was
We're gonna do that.
The weirdest fidelity to it. But it's fun to experiment. Like when I play live, I use a Yamaha sub kick in front of my bass, one of my cabinets, instead of a microphone. And all these people got right in and saw it, and they went, I've never seen anybody do that. But Nate Kunkel and I did that together when we were working on a project, and Russ Kunkel had a sub kick in front of his bass drum. I said, let's put it in front of the bass rig. And I looked over at Nate, and he just went, So these things, you experiment and you find things like that. And that's really, really is the fun of this, is especially with the technology that's available, is every day can be a new adventure. Yeah. And it seems like so much of this gear, because I go to like the Roland booth when I'm at the NAMM show, and you just check everything out, and you go, it's hard to dig deep enough into this stuff. And then somebody comes in who really knows it, and they go, oh, there's this whole other area of it if you push this thing and do this. And you go, holy crap, man, this is amazing. So I love the idea of you combining the two for live performance, of having an organic show, but with all of the sampling and all of the technology here too. It's very cool.
We have a great iPhone story from the our Admirer album. So the song Blue Ranger Interlude, right in the middle there, it was a work in progress. We weren't sure what to do with it, and we had sent the song to a great friend of ours to record some guitar on top of it.
Shout out Blue Ranger. I think they're also doing a live stream tonight.
Yes, yeah.
Love you, Josh.
Cool.
And so he had recorded the guitar parts and had some kind of problem with his Logic, the recording software on his computer. So he said, well, as I work to get this Logic all sorted out, I'm just going to record it on my iPhone and I'll send it to you guys. And we were blown away. I mean, it sounded amazing. So I took his iPhone recording and put it into our session. And then eventually he sent his guitars, and they're all layered in as well. But something about the conversion between all the file formats, his iPhone version got stretched out just a little bit. So as the song progresses, there's almost like a slapback delay that happens that was completely unintentional, but we put that file in there and we listen back and it's just this beautiful kind of natural, slap delay that organically grows through the song. And it just has something to do with how the iPhone recorded it and then got transferred and sent around and then put into Pro Tools. And it was this beautiful kind of, you couldn't plan that kind of moment.
Yeah. That's the excitement
Happy
of
accident.
this.
Yes.
Yeah. When we had our band, The Section, together back in the early 70s, we would rehearse every day in a rehearsal facility. And we had just one of these old Sony stereo tape decks that had built-in condenser mics, and we would record every rehearsal and a lot of jamming, and then we would listen to it all and cut it up. And there was one song that we could never capture in the studio, as good as we had on that. So we took the cassette and we dumped it to the 24 track and did a couple of overdubs on it, and that was on the record because the feel was so much more important than the technology.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I love the idea of having something that you kind of go, what's going on with it? That's kind of weird, but ooh, it's kind of cool. Let's go with it. And that to me that's the beauty of this whole process is every day you're venturing into the unknown.
Yeah.
And some days you just kind of go, this ain't working. And other days you go, wow, I love this.
This is really working.
Yeah, that's great though. I think you should be really proud of what you're doing.
Thank you. We are. It's an ever changing thing, and for the next album, which we've already started, we're already combining maybe more natural elements with some of the more electronic stuff. I would say there's more like acoustic guitar, for instance, on the album coming up, and I'm like learning guitar a little bit. I'm not trying to get too close to that, but I am learning guitar, and it's just another I feel like I've come back around to really loving like folk and rock. I feel like I was kind of snooty for a minute and being like, I only want to listen to like electronic pop and stuff, but there's no rule that says those things can't be combined, so that's something that I'm excited about for
music is music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
We had a fun revelation of sort of thinking about, well, we love digital kind of electronic sounds and we love acoustic sounds. And when we were working on the last album, I think, and just other projects I've worked on, I've always tried to blend them together and kind of, well, maybe I'll clean up this acoustic guitar track so it works better with this synth, or maybe I'll try to add a little grit to this synth so it works. And for this new project we're working on, we've kind of realized just let the thing be what it is. And if it's an acoustic guitar, let it sound like an acoustic guitar and make it kind of run it through the console and kind of dirty it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And let the synthesizer be a synthesizer and kind of brighten up the high end and really make it kind of almost digitally distort, and just let them kind of exist in their own worlds. And we've been really having fun playing with those kind of textures and just
That's great.
not trying to meet in the middle, kind of just actually let them stay in the extremes. And
Well, everything to me is predicated on the song. And so when you're doing these things, you find the textures and the lyrics and everything that best tell the story. And if you need something that comes together and is all crunchy and weird, then in the song, it demands that, then that's what you do. But if it doesn't, then you should never feel the confines of any of this. Just do whatever,
absolutely.
Whatever feels right for that specific song. That's why I've always looked at everything myself as everything is song specific.
Yeah.
It's not genre specific or stylistically or anything. It's what that song really wants of you at that time.
Yeah.
And certainly with all this gear, it's kind of.
We're very spoiled. It's true.
That's great.
What songs are you listening to as you spend all this time indoors?
Well, what I've really been doing every day, and this really kind of happened sort of by accident. There's so many times over periods of time, like I just finished 2.5 years with Phil Collins doing a world and a half tour. Started out doing 3 gigs and ended up doing 2.5 years. It's like one of these things that happen. But there's a lot of people that have written to me because we were doing like through Europe, South America, we were doing a lot of stadium gigs. And people would write to me and go, man, we could hear you pretty good out there, but bass always suffers in so many of the big venues. And so what I decided to do was I got a board mix of our show. I took the one from Adelaide, which was a really nice show. And every day I was posting another song, running it through a little speaker next to my phone. And then I have a bass amp next to me and I'm playing all my bass parts, but putting them at the front of the track so that people could hear really note for note exactly what's going on. It's performance-wise, it's not nearly as good for me as playing it live because I'm sitting here listening to a loud bass in a tiny track, which is exactly the opposite of how I like to play music. I'm not feeling I'm in the track. I'm doing this, but I've been doing it every day since the quarantine started, and I've got a couple of things in there that have like 140,000 views, and I'm getting like tons and tons of people writing back. So I did because my band with your father, with the immediate family, I just did a whole story about the immediate family and how we came together, and then I played Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Are you kidding?
Oh, it's great. It's great. So I've got this YouTube channel that I never intended to have a YouTube channel, but now I've got one, and anybody who wants to come there, just come hang out and stuff. But people have written and said, well, when the quarantine's finally over, are you going to quit doing this? I've said, no, I'm really enjoying it. I may not be able to do it every day, but I certainly would. It's kind of fun for me to kind of dig back into a bunch of different stuff that I've worked on over the years. So I'm stepping away from Phil and doing that. I'm going to do some of our songs from the first album with the immediate family, because our new album's going to be coming out and I'm not going to infringe on that before it's released.
Sure.
And I work with Judith Owen, who's a great Welsh singer-songwriter, pianist, and I'm going to post some of the stuff we did. So, and I did a Steve Lukather thing from one of his solo records and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So it's fun, but it's just showing bass parts, but I'm telling stories too, because I can get really long-winded, as we're finding out here. And it's really fun just to tell stories about what went on. I did Stratus from Spectrum with Billy Cobham, and man, guys jumped all over that. But I told the whole story about how we recorded it, and with Tommy Bolin and Jan Hammer and at Electric Ladyland and all this. So it's been fun, between walking my dogs, watching some shows on Netflix, and doing this and making acapella videos with our band and with Judith and stuff. It's easy to fill a day.
It's funny that everyone can name the things that they're doing on one hand. Like everyone that I've talked to can go through, well, I exercise and I do yoga over Zoom. Like everyone has their daily routine that they are like so used to explaining to people.
Well, everybody's got their own, at this point.
And it's good and you need it.
That's the leveling field that this has created. For everybody, so that you don't go completely insane. You find little benchmarks throughout your day of things that you can kind of rely on and depend on. And the thing that's been amazing is just like looking out. Boy, I'll tell you, the environment sure is liking this. The air's clear, everything looks better, and you get out on the streets. I'm seeing there was peacocks outside of my house, that came into the area. It's really interesting with the dynamic of what's everything going on. The only horror of it is the pain and suffering that's coming, but being sequestered isn't really that terrible. But I guess I don't have 4 little screaming kids in the house. My neighbor across the street, he's constantly sitting in front of his house on the phone while his kids are ranting and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really lucky. I think all 3 of us are pretty lucky that we get to work from home and make music from home. I feel really fortunate to be doing that, and it's so great to be doing this because we are here as raising money for Music Cares, which is great. Which is really, really great. Obviously, like artists and freelancers are suffering a lot right now. So I just think it's wonderful. And I think Linda Perry and Carrie Brown did a great thing with this. What have you been listening to? I mean,
what have I been listening to?
Other than our own music.
Well, so today, I have a friend of mine who has been going through all of his entire record collection alphabetically.
Kevin.
Yes.
And so he just reached the Beatles. It's been going on for over a month now, so he's got a lot of records.
Yeah.
But so we spent this morning. Stella asked, well, we started discussing Sgt. Pepper, and then just went from there.
Well, Sgt. Pepper versus Pet Sounds.
The age-old debate.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just had a blast going back through the whole Beatles catalog. So I think that's kind of what's going to take up the rest of my week. Because, you know, it's, you say, like, well, Abbey Road's my favorite. Well, but you know what? If I kind of condense the White Album, maybe that would actually be my favorite. And, well, you know, Rubber Soul's probably the best of the mid, you know, and you can just get yourself going on it for hours and hours and hours. So, and they've been doing all these fantastic remasters with the demos and B-sides and, you know, instrumental kind of versions and first takes and all that. So,
did you see, I'm sure you were there with me when we saw Love, the Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas?
I didn't go. We were there, but I didn't go that night.
Yeah.
But I saw the Beatles. I was an usher at the Hollywood Bowl.
No way.
Are you kidding?
So I got to see the Beatles live.
You
when
win.
I met McCartney and told him, because we did this, there's a festival every year called the Nebworth Festival outside of London. And in 90, we did it. And it was one of these shows you walk in and it's McCartney, Page and Plant, Clapton, Genesis, Phil, Pink Floyd. I mean, you name it. Everybody was on this thing. And McCartney was there. And I thought to myself, I got to say something to this guy when I saw he and Linda sitting in the canteen before the show. And so I go walking over and he freaked me out because as I got closer to the table, I was going to break a bunch of glass and crawl through it just to go up to him. And he looks up and he goes, wow, Lee Sklar, I always wanted to meet you. Completely freaked me out. But when their set was over, I looked at him backstage and I said, you know, the last time I heard some of these songs was when I was an usher at the Hollywood Bowl. And we both looked at each other and went, just, wow, this is really a trip. But yeah, all those things, you know, the best thing through times like this, like with a record collection thing and all that, is if you suffer from kind of profound OCD, this is like fertile ground. You know, I'm emptying all the closets, everything in the house, repapering, all this crap. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm completely insane at this point. Beatles, you know, Pet Sounds, Sgt. Pepper, and nobody will ever have an answer to that one.
No, it's true.
It's deep.
It changes by the day.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of mood you're in, I guess.
This morning I said Pet Sounds.
You did. I was like, really?
But it may change tomorrow. I don't know.
Well, that's why tomorrow's tomorrow. It gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do, I feel like this has been so fun. I think we'll probably do another live stream maybe.
Yeah, we're thinking about doing a bunch of live streams, kind of maybe doing some performances, showing a little bit about our process. Kind of
you just need to have a project right now.
A bit of our writing process and a bit of a brainstorming process, and maybe.
Have you thought at all about like doing like an acapella thing? You know, with you know, like those the different panels in it where you. It
would be hard to show all of this.
Maybe if we put a different synthesizer in each panel.
That would be cute.
I mean, you know, it's been interesting. I've loved watching. I mean, it's been great to see like some symphony orchestras doing like 80 panels.
Yeah, that's
wow. That's awesome.
And everybody's in their house playing. It's fun. We're having fun with the immediate family doing it and with Judith. But you could have a couple of windows with your vocals and doing snacks. But it's just another version of what you're doing right here, except it's not interactive, which this is great just because there's the reality of the moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's cool. I love it. I love the setup there. It's a really tidy looking little assortment pack.
It's our command center.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, we did clean before, you know.
Yes.
There was more, I did some cable management to make it look nice for the cameras.
That's always the bane.
Yeah.
Mine's...
It would, you know, the setup would look so beautiful if you just didn't need power and didn't need any XLRs or you didn't need any 1/4-inch cables. It would look perfect, but the cables are what messes it up.
Maybe time and invent something.
There you go.
All wireless. That's probably where the future's going, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Wireless is. I still find that you lose a lot. Yeah. I'm still hardwired when I play and everything. I've been through the wireless.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. But you're with a company that could definitely come up with some cool stuff for that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're always looking for new things to design and to develop. So maybe plant the seed.
Maybe this is where that'll start, right here.
Yeah, could be. This could just be a glass panel in front of you, and all that stuff could be virtual on a glass panel.
Who knows?
We don't. But I love your music.
Thank you, Lee.
I'm anxious to hear the new stuff because I got into the previous album and made myself. I didn't know what we were going to do today, so I wrote all kinds of notes about different songs.
Really.
But they really come down to is really good storytelling. I think your concept as a lyricist is really good, because some people just put words out and other people actually create stories that are meaningful, and all of your stuff had that. And I really I love the arrangements. There's a depth to them, but a simplicity that's really great. Guys,
Thank you.
Can you maybe do another song?
We would love to. So we just actually put out a song, Burger Records, based out of California. They had they did like a big multi-volume compilation album where a bunch of different artists sort of wrote songs about, staying healthy and staying inside, and all of the proceeds went right to the artists to, give everybody some money during this time. So we wrote a song called Days Melt, which we have on that. It's on Bandcamp, on the Burger Records Bandcamp. All of my music, all of our music is on Spotify and Apple Music under Stella Emmet. My Instagram, Stella Emmet. You can follow me if you want. You don't have to. This has been so fun.
I love it.
I think after we play, up next is In a Lonely Place with Matt Pinfield and Butch Walker at 4. So stay tuned for that. And let me check my levels here.
Yeah, well, I got to do an outfit change. I got to get the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
This is crazy. I also have to say, so crazy to perform in front of a screen. I'm like tripped out.
You're doing great.
Thank you so much.
You're doing great.
Thank you for that affirmation. Okay.
Right, I'll take these back.
Okay.
It's like a whole different show now.
Yes.
Whole different show. Let's see, we should be all good here. All right. Any last words?
Any last words? Stay safe.
All right.
Those are my last words.
I look out at the tennis court, covered in rain. I watch the world from my window. playing back old memories. I remember who I was before it got to me. When your worst fears come true, you're calmer than you thought you'd be. When your worst fears come true, you're calmer than you thought you'd be. So I give up control, and I hope for the best. What's to be done now? What's to be done now? We all gotta learn how to keep inside and keep to ourselves. Let all the days melt. We keep inside and keep to ourselves. Let all the days melt.
All right.
Yeah. My double duty trying to grab knobs and play guitar.
I know.
That's
Mr.
great.
Fantastic.
That's really great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's just add that to
Yeah.
the equation to get people safe and sound.
Yeah. Yeah. This was fun. I mean, it's really interesting. I guess we'll all just sort of have to get used to this performing wise. Before this, I really didn't, we just kind of started playing shows live in the last year or two.
Mhm.
And then this sort of happened. So yeah, it's kind of daunting.
Yeah, but it's always great to have like something that is somewhat uncharted territory to be able to step
Exactly.
and you
It's
can
another skill.
yeah, you define yourself in this format. And the beauty of this is this can reach, you go play a club and you're going to see, 100 people or something. This you could reach however many people are streaming and
Yeah.
on a global basis. So, there's really positive things about it. I mean, ideally, we'll be able to get back into playing live concerts and be with people.
Yeah.
But for the moment, it's great that there are options available so it doesn't stifle your creativity and your music. Like you're sitting there going, who's going to hear it? Who cares?
Yeah.
A lot of people can hear this and experience it. And I think it's exciting. I'm enjoying every day doing something like this, even though, and then you're just kind of waiting for people to write back to you just to get affirmation as to you actually, did something that they're.
Were you into this or not so much?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like your outlook.
Well, you got to be positive because there's so much, to be negative about, and it's not going to keep you healthy.
Yeah.
So you as the old saying goes, you get lemons, you make lemonade, and
Absolutely.
trying to make some really sweet lemonade here.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I've been tuning into your videos. I'm going to keep tuning in because it's so great to hear people talk about their work, and I feel like maybe now's an opportunity for people to do that who haven't before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really with time on your hands, what are you going to do with it? You can sit around and really be morose and think the world's shutting down, or you can do something, creative that maybe other people will help them lift their spirits. And I do that. I look at a lot of people's stuff on YouTube and
Cool.
keep an eye on things and discovering lots of people I would never have known about. But everybody's got time to do something now. And
Yeah.
But right now my biggest concern is just for people to be as smart as they can be,
Yeah.
and be safe, and don't put your friends and your family and your community in harm's way, because this will eventually end, but there's no way of knowing. So
Right.
don't buy into rhetoric of people that just are trying to monetize things. Be safe, because being dead isn't that's kind of like you're not going to enjoy anything then.
Just be patient. Just be patient, people. Yeah, exactly. Just wait it out.
Yeah.
If you
I
can.
love what you guys are doing there. This is really
Thank you.
a really creative space you got going. And,
It's our lab.
keep it up. It's pretty cool.
We
Your
will.
daddy is so proud.
Oh. Yeah, I'll ask him how he thinks this went. And I know he'll be honest with me, so that's good.
Yeah, he'll just say, "Oh, I should have been there instead of Lee."
No.
I love Cooch. So
Too
much.
close to home.
Yeah, no kidding.
Literally.
So, are you guys are you at your parents, or where?
We're at Mike's parents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my parents. Great. Well, you guys stay safe, and
You too.
just-
Take care of the puppies. Hug the puppies.
I am.
Say hi to Maureen.
I will. I bathed the boys. My shirt actually. I'm glad this isn't high def, because I really, am covered with dog hair.
Glamorous.
Yeah, it's pretty sexy here. Just a continuation of me into my clothing.
Right. Well, right.
We must be close to a.
Yeah,
I
about
think we
that.
are.
That just about does it for
I think we'll
us
probably
on
hear
here.
from someone very soon here. I wonder if anyone will recognize this video game playing back here.
Well, they definitely should go check out your Instagram page with your pictures.
Yes, they should. Stella Emmet.
Yeah,
Check it out. They're so funny. They're like a time capsule.
it was the best time. I mean, I will cherish that tour for that reason for the rest of my life.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just looked down to make sure I wasn't muted. I'm just laughing away to myself.
Yeah, we don't need a Zoom disaster going on right now.
It's a cool format, though.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm going to be tuning in the more that they do this. I love all these things. People are getting so creative.
Yeah. Well,
As
these are the
people tend
times
to do.
that really get people's juices flowing to do creative things.
Right.
Because it would be easy to fall into your normal daily routine, which wouldn't be this necessarily.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
yes.
trying to read more. Maybe now is when I'll
Yeah.
become a bookworm for the first time.
Well, so why don't we give one final thanks to We Are Here and On the Air.
Yes, yeah.
And a big thanks to Roland, and a big shout out to Music Cares. There is a donut button, right?
a donut button.
That's what we called it the other day.
Hit that
There's a
button.
donate button on the YouTube page, and
Yes.
this has been we're honored to be here. It's such a wonderful cause.
We're
and
honored to be here. We're honored to talk to you, Lee. Thank you so much for taking time to do this. We really appreciate it.
I'm thrilled to hear you guys in this format too. You really have something special going on.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And let's talk soon. How about that?
Yeah. I'm here. I got nothing to do.
All right.
I'm gonna work on my daily YouTube video after we hang up. Try to
Yes.
All right.
What song?
Well, I was starting off, I was in a band in the 90s called Barefoot Servants, which was kind of like Hendrix meets ZZ. And I'm thinking about maybe doing one of our songs. But I was also thinking about maybe a Judith song, because we did Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun, but in 5, like Dave Brubeck. And
Whoa.
it's really
I
cool.
would love to hear that.
Me
I gotta
too.
look that one up.
I might do that as my video for the day and tell stories about how I got to, because Judith is married to Harry Shearer, who does like all the voices on The Simpsons, and he was in the bass player in Spinal Tap and all this stuff. So it's an interesting cast of characters. So I might do that. I mean, there's lots and lots of things to look at and to enjoy.
Absolutely.
We'll see. I'll make something.
said, so